What's up, guys? We are back again, and we are going to be discussing another job, man. I love discussing these jobs with you guys because, again, it gets whatever bad experiences I had out of my system, and also it helps out, man. Like, when I say it helps out, it really helps out due to the fact of, hey, if you had a bad experience with a job and you talk about it, whether it be with a family member, friend, whomever, sometimes it helps you out. I mean, and I feel like doing this, it's really helped me out. It's helped you guys hopefully get to know more about me, what I've been through emotionally, physically, everything of that nature, right? So I'm going to talk about a third-party company I worked with as a technician with Suddenlink. Now, if you guys don't know what Suddenlink is a cable Wi-Fi based company. It's very known in Louisiana, so I'm not exactly sure if you guys have had it in any areas, if you guys are watching me, but I worked at this place. It was called Cable Gains. It was a third party that worked with Suddenlink. It was not like you actually worked for them, you worked with them. So I couldn't really do much when I got hired because I was being trained and I knew the majority of what to do, but they had certain guidelines of what you could do, what you couldn't do. So again, that's what took most of the time. Now, some used a company vehicle, others they used their own vehicle. They had it personalized, and the job was you got paid job by job, right? You had to, if you did this type of job, like a trouble call, which was if you had any kind of issues with your Wi-Fi, your cable, you got paid this amount of money. Or if you did an install, you got this kind of money. Or you had to do this, it was this kind of money. So again, me still having issues with Wi-Fi and cable, I was still trying to be in that field. I more liked what I was doing because of the pay, and also because of that freedom of driving anywhere and seeing new locations and stuff like that. That's what I really enjoyed about the job. And what happened is that already when I got there, it was a bad experience because when I got hired, I got there early and no one was really there. But then when I did get there, there was people already talking. I didn't know who was who. So obviously, I'm introducing myself. I'm like, hey, my name's so-and-so. And, like, hey, my name's Matt, But what gets me is that no one knew. And I talked to what seemed was, I guess, the assistant manager, and he was a two-faced person. And then I spoke to the actual manager, and I guess they were co-managers. And he had no idea I was being hired. Like, he had no idea who I was. He had no idea that I was on the team. He had no recollection, no nothing. The guy that initially hired me got fired for the hiring manager, and he didn't notify the manager I was going to be working for. I had no paperwork done, no nothing. So here I am. I got dropped off, and then I had to walk back home. So if you guys do not know that, I did not have a car for more than 5 years. So anywhere I had to go, I had to use Lyft, I had to use Uber, I had to walk or get a ride from friends. So I did a lot of walking, and I still do sometimes. But where I'm at now, it's a little hard to get certain areas without a car. So that's why I'm very happy and blessed that I do have a car. But anyway, I had to walk back home, do the paperwork, and I couldn't do it right then and there or whatever. So I had to do the paperwork and then come the very next day. So I get that done, and I come in the very next day, and I'm getting switched from this person for the next however many weeks. Just by the way everything was going, the place I worked at, it was in a very small building. The cars were a joke. It just, the system was absolutely crazy. They didn't really have a good system. The workers, some of them were cool, but there was a few, like there was one guy that trained me, he was really cool. But as soon as, from what I heard, he went to assistant manager, it went to hell in a handbasket because further on, when I was no longer with the company, the guy that was trying to train me, he just became a real dick, and he just let the job go to his head of him being another manager. So, and then one of the other guys that I worked with, he was, I don't know what his deal was. I really don't know. I mean, he had a problem with me. Oh, you're always on your phone. And granted, yes, I was always on my phone because I had stuff going on at the time. And at the same time, I was I was dealing with a potential relationship. I was dealing with some family issues and everything of that nature, and trying to keep my apartment. So again, there was a lot of issues I was trying to handle, and I was only in training, so some stuff that he was doing I already saw. But overall, I'm like, okay, and he just kind of really pissed me off. And then there was one day I just got so pissed off that I was just like, okay, you know what, screw this. I started looking for another job, and I had like 2 jobs lined up. And what initially happened was I had to hold off on one job because I was literally at this job that I was at the time, and I had to. They're like, oh, well, you can make it. And I'm like, no, I can't. And what initially happened was they're like, well, we're gonna have to move on to the next one, because I couldn't make an interview, unfortunately, because I had a family member go in the hospital. That took precedent, and when she was in the hospital, it was in real bad shape, and I even told the company I was with that, hey, I'm going to be gone for however long because I got a family member in the hospital. So I was gone for about a week. They were understanding to the most part, but at the same time, they didn't like the fact of, oh, hey, I need 40 hours a week, and they're like, oh, we can't guarantee you that. We can't guarantee 40 hours. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? You told me when I got hired you can guarantee me 40 hours. And they're like, well, we can't because, and I'm just like, really? You can't guarantee me 40 hours because of the way work goes. I understand how this job goes, but at the same time, come on. So they couldn't guarantee me 40 hours, and they wanted to have me on my own for a little bit. I didn't feel comfortable with going solo just yet, because again, you didn't have a partner. I'm glad with the job I'm at now, you get someone to help you with the job you're working at, and that's why I love about that company that I'm with now. But what gets me is just the way this company was, man. I mean, there was a lot of shady folks there, and there was one guy that he got fired because he supposedly did something like he was selling product, and then there was another guy that got fired because, and then again, this is after I'm gone, guys. There was another guy, he got caught for doing something with a customer and all this other kind of shady stuff, and I don't know, man. And then it was weird because one of the other guys that was the assistant manager, supposedly he was having an affair with one of the girls that was working there, and she was for the so-called call center they have, which was only like 2-3 people, and that was ridiculous. So it what's so funny is I know his wife. I met her when I would get, my hair done at Sport Clips, and that's what made it so much funny. It's because I didn't like the guy. He was a real dickhead, and I told him, I was like, look, I'm thinking to myself, I could blow you out of the water here, buddy, because of what I'm finding out and what I'm hearing. So again, it kind of goes back into, you're going to have crazy jobs, you're going to have bad jobs, you're going to have good jobs, and this job was a stepping stone for me, unfortunately. And then afterwards, after we kind of went our separate ways, because I told him, how I felt about everything and about this person and that person. I was like, hey, I'm good, I'm done. And they were understanding for the most part, but at the same time, I left, and this company's no longer in business, mind you. This company's no longer in business. I don't know if they teamed up with another company or they just went out of business. From what I heard, they went out of business and someone took over that location that they were at. I don't know what fully happened. I don't know the story, but again, like I said, I wouldn't say, oh, hey, go with this company, because they don't know what they're doing. They didn't. I will say this straight up right now, guys. That company was very shady. It was very maniacal. They would act like kids, and it was bad, man. I mean, it was really bad, because 90% of the time you just, you felt like, oh, you were a child, or you were this, or you were that. It was bad, because you never knew what the heck was going on. You never knew, oh, hey, guess what? I could be, in a bad position, and just like, hey, what am I going to do? You just never knew what was going to happen. And that's why I always tell people, when you do this kind of work, you need to understand, hey, guess what? You may not know what time you get home. You may have this issue, you may have that issue, and I'm going to go ahead and say this now. There's no such thing as perfect Wi-Fi. Anyone tells you, oh, it's perfect Wi-Fi or perfect cable, there is no such thing. I can guarantee you that with every fiber of my being. But overall, guys, I just wanted to get that off my chest. I wanted to talk to you guys, but overall, hope you guys are having a good day. Hope you guys are having a good week. There's a lot of videos coming out for my past work history, just videos that I just want to talk about, also with what I've been up to. Personally, I got some other videos I'm going to be getting into. Don't know when they're going to drop, but hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, leave a like. Hope you guys are having a great day, and hope to see more comments down below for stuff like this. But anyway, I'll see you next time.